Welcome, everybody. This is the CyphaDen Chat. I'm your host, Taiyamo Denku. We got my other host with me, Pestilence. We're supposed to have a special guest tonight, but unfortunately, at this current status, he is not responding.
He's probably running away from a bunch of bees.
Yeah, because
It's
that's
the only logical explanation as to why he wouldn't be here instead of anywhere else. Because if he's running away from a big swath of bees.
yeah, because bees randomly are something that we all run away from.
Yeah. I
Um,
honestly, growing up, I thought that was going to be more of a problem.
huh. I actually don't remember the last time I ran away from a swarm of bees, actually. It's probably been a minute for me. But on that note, make sure that if you're around hives of bees, that you don't stand and stare when they're buzzing.
Yeah. It's like an eclipse. You're not supposed to stare directly at a bunch of buzzing bees,
I
which is
didn't
entomology by Denku.
people were like they're like, man, did you really stare at the sun like that? I was like, no, my phone stared at the sun. I did not look directly at the sun. I I took a random picture with my phone set at a different setting so the sun wouldn't blind me. But yes, anybody out there this evening that's or afternoon, anyone out there this afternoon that stared into the sun, um, that sucks.
Yeah. Or it could.
It
It
could
could
suck.
suck for you. Yeah.
But yes, I hope everybody enjoyed the mega eclipse. I was not too impressed actually. It was just a normal thing.
It was cool. Like it was like, oh, that's cool. But it wasn't something that I was like, man, I can't imagine. Like I've heard people taking flights from California to Toronto to be able to see it, like in its glory. And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
man, I would have been bummed.
people flew and traveled mad places just to look at it from a different perspective. It's kind of crazy actually. I mean, the coolest thing about it was looking outside and seeing how dim the light was. I think that was the only real cool thing about it, and then it just randomly disappeared. You know what I'm saying? Like it was cool
Yeah,
for a little bit and then it went back to regular brightness, and it's
it
like,
was. It was like them just hitting a dimmer switch on the outside,
yeah.
and everybody was like, "Holy shit! Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's dimmer outside for like an hour."
Yep. And then it came back to the regular thing.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. Stuff like that never has really excited me necessarily. I do understand why some people can get really excited about it. I do get the historical significance of, we ain't gonna see that again for I think it's 70 years before there's another one of those. But
I mean,
even
but there
that,
was
it's like,
literally there was an eclipse um in 2018. I remember this because I was actually on tour with Ram and America's Addiction, and when it actually happened, we were in Dover, New Hampshire, and I remember looking I remember looking at the sun through a pair of dark shaded glasses so I could see the eclipse. But it wasn't I mean, what was this eclipse? It was like a mega eclipse or something. It's like planets aligned and shit. And
geek, you don't got me. I don't know. There was a lot of different rumblings that I saw on Facebook. Some people were saying that NASA was gonna shoot fucking rockets at it. Other people were saying they're firing up the Hadron Collider at the same time. We're gonna send us into a parallel dimension. There's
well,
a
if
lot
you
of
were
weird rumblings.
I mean, if you were unaware, I secretly turned into Professor Denku X. I don't know if you saw the picture.
I did see the picture. It made me chuckle very, very much. This is like I could see Denku in his little cerebro, just like frying all the whack rappers.
Oh shit. Yeah, man. But yeah, the eclipse thing. Yeah, I guess I wasn't super impressed with it. Like I said, I didn't really see the difference from the last eclipse that I stared into.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't either. It was about the same to me. And yeah, it's neat. It's cool. I'm sure if you're like into astrology and stuff, it's probably like the Super Bowl for you, but it's not something that
it's the Super Bowl for it's the Super Bowl for astrologists.
yeah, dude, they get all excited. They're like, "Oh my God, this one's gonna line up with that one."
Put on their favorite lipstick,
Yep.
dance around.
I mean, it's what everybody does during the Super Bowl, so I gotta imagine that the astrologists do the same for the total eclipse. Yo, what did you think of because like first of all, like I was a little bit surprised to see how much of my news feed the last few days was taken over by the Kendrick Lamar versus J. Cole. Them calling it a beef for one was weird to me because I know you and I talked about this a little bit earlier. But like, I'm more accustomed to like when people are beefing, there's a lot more being tossed back and forth and there's fuller tracks. So like when I first saw the original, like, oh, Kendrick Lamar dissed Drake and J. Cole, I thought like, oh, there's a full track. And when I originally saw that it wasn't even his track, I'm like, all right, this is kind of weird. Um, the rest of the track that it's on is absolutely atrocious. Like Future is terrible to me.
I've never liked Future ever in my whole life.
Yeah, it's just bad.
I always thought
Um,
Future was a terrible artist, terrible rapper. The fact that he's even popular or famous, um, pisses me
says a
off
lot.
to a whole
Yeah.
nother level of pissed offness.
But I just kind of like it's wild to me to see like first of all that the barbs that they shared were considered to be like people were talking about them like, oh, this is the next big, hip hop feud, that we've seen. And then today to see the fallout and like could you imagine getting in like a battle with another rapper and then apologizing like the next day for your diss track?
Well, put it in the perspective of the last dish shit that I was a part of. Never in my entire life would I ever apologize to the Dubsack dude ever for
Yeah.
shitting on him. I would never do that. I've never apologized to anybody I dissed in my whole life. Like this is happened for a reason, and like I'm not friends with those people afterwards. Like it's not like you were talking about earlier, like how you guys just want to test the skill level, sharpen the swords within the crew, and like have like a meaningless but skill diss tracks to each other within your crew. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's not like a friendly battle thing. It's like a diss track is supposed to be against someone you don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are you doing a diss track for then? It doesn't make any sense. Shouts to Knowledge real quick. He was in the chat. Um,
Luke.
so yeah, shouts to him. But yeah, for me, you know, I just think you should never apologize for dissing somebody. That's the dumbest, corniest, stupidest. There's a whole lot of other words I could put around the entire thought that goes into it. But yes, why would anybody apologize for doing a diss track?
Yeah, I don't get it. It was
Yeah.
wild to me to see that and to see like
Yeah, I
the
watched it.
litany of different responses too from people.
Yeah, I watched it this morning on the way to work actually. The fucking apology. I was like, Oh wow, this is how I'm going to start my day.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a. I thought it was a joke at first, and then he was gonna like really slam him. Because I thought both disses were, like I said, not really that strong to begin with.
No, they
But
weren't.
then to do that and then to be like, you know what, man, that's some of the lamest stuff I've done in my whole life. It's like, bro, now you can never say you're the best ever and that you want all the smoke because you already proved that you don't.
Yeah. So my thing about it is, um, there was people that were after I made a post about how weak it is to apologize after some diss and beef shit. And there were some people on the thread that had said some shit like, um, it takes a real man to be able to come out and blah 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 and apologize because they're not in that mind state and mindset and whatever. And I'm like, I'm looking at who's saying these things. And I'm like, you're not even a rapper. You're not even in hip hop whatsoever. Why do you even have an opinion about it? Like, you've never even been in rap beef. So what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's not
why
like you're
why would that
you're
be why would that
feuding
be
with your
something
neighbor.
that why would that be something that you think you should have an opinion about when you've never had rap beef in your whole life?
It is
I
a
just
weird culture to be a part of. I mean, like that is one of the weird like it's good weird to me, like in hip hop because there's not as much of that like you don't have as much closet hating as you do in other fields, I think. Like if you're fucking, great basketball player, I'm sure there's some people that are open about like, hey, you fucking suck. Like I see a lot of that shit about like LeBron. People fucking hate LeBron. People hate this person. People hate that person. You still get that, but it's like hip hop is one of the fucking avenues that it's welcomed on both sides. It's like an equal exchange of that energy.
mm,
So it's like wild to me that like because people outside of it, like you just don't understand. It's like you're creating something and there's other people that are also creating something. And it's like a rap beef is like it's two of these fucking forces meeting each other. And it's at its best, it's a brilliant exchange, but usually that doesn't happen. Usually it's like maybe one guy fires some fucking atomic bombs and the other guy goes, "We don't have the equipment for that,"
mm.
or whatever other excuse he makes, or what we just had, which was the equivalent of like a diss track version of this fucking slapping battle. Like, just like, come on, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's like boxing with the headgear on.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you saw my whole thing about I I definitely stirred up a whole lot of controversy when I posted originally about when did hooks start being a thing in rap shit. Not really even thinking about how many rap diss songs have hooks and realizing that I don't think I've ever liked any of because of I don't think I ever liked the hooks on any of the diss tracks that ever came out. And me sitting there having to defend this to my giant friend list of people was just crazy because when people had their own opinions that didn't align with what I was saying, they felt like they had to let me know about it. And then obviously there was some people that took it to a whole nother level, like your boy, your
Oh,
boy, your boy.
my boy.
Your, hey, I didn't even get in dude's DMs. That was
I
that
didn't
was
get in his DMs either. He slid into my DMs, bro. We'll just make that quite clear. I don't be sliding into no dude's DMs, but there's plenty of dudes that be sliding into my DMs looking for the fucking Vienna sausage, and it
Jesus
it ain't
Christ.
fucking for sale, bro. Like,
Yeah, but that whole shit stirred up a whole lot of beef, a whole lot of stupid, dumb shit.
that's true.
And
That's
people,
true.
I don't, like I said, man, I don't really care. Um, if people got different opinions than mine, and I don't really care if they don't align. The thing about it to me is when your opinions don't align, why is that the only time you respond to anything on my page?
Right.
Is what I want to know. Why does it take a controversial post with me having a different opinion than you for you to interact with my shit? It's stupid because I constantly post positive shit or ask questions, like just random questions of shit that nobody even talks anything in. And then, like, obviously I'll promote and push the music and it'll get little to no response. But then when I see people in person that are on the friend list, they'll be like, oh man, I heard that one joint you did. And I'm just like, well, why the fuck didn't you respond to it then? If you heard it, why didn't you tell me then when the
Right.
song was out? Like, what the fuck? You wait to see me in person to tell me you heard this song and you thought it was cool? Like, I literally put it out for everyone to hear on the fucking mass socials, and you heard it on there, but you acted like you didn't hear it, but you did. Like, why do people do that shit?
Well, it is weird because it does feel like it's a gravitation towards like your status. So it's like when you're at a show and you're somebody that's performing and stuff, you're on a status like at the event, right? People are like, that's a performer, and it's a cool mystique for some people. And I think for some people that like the people you're talking about, I think in a lot of the cases that's what it is. They're like, oh, cool. This is something I can have in common with one of these performers to talk about. Um, I think like more likely because like I can honestly say for myself, like I've never been a weirdo that's like I've been a weirdo. Let me stop this. I've been a weirdo, but I've never been the kind of weirdo that is friends or follows somebody on social media and sees a bunch of shit I don't like, and then event or sees a bunch of shit that's like, okay, I don't care about this, I don't care about this, I don't care about this, and then sees something I don't like, and I'm like, all right, time to fucking jump on you, fuck you. Um, I think when I find myself on like a status of seeing somebody and seeing a bunch of shit I don't like, eventually I just unfriend them. It's like all
Hmm.
right, this is clearly a person that does not align with my views. I don't really need to be seeing this. But why would I jump down their throat for an opinion based anything? It just doesn't make sense.
So that's the thing. I don't even care if people have different views than me. I don't think that's even a reason to not be cool with somebody. Everybody can have their own views and their own opinions about shit. That's cool. There's obviously a reason why certain people follow me. It's because we shared a similar idea of music. Or you are following me to secretly spy on what I'm doing to try to steal networking tools. I know people that have done that to me. I understand you guys are losers, but you know, whatever. I know I have some of those people on my friend list, but a majority of the people that are on my friend list are people that do music, interact with music, have similar things in music, but our opinions on certain shit doesn't align. And when it doesn't align, I'm not just gonna defriend somebody because of that. But I've had random people defriend me over shit. Like I remember when the whole uh you know the last Trump election, or the uh when the rioting was going on and all that shit was going on, I had my own, like, I aligned with a lot of people that I felt the same way about shit, about, like the white privilege thing, and talking, how I see that because I'm friends with a lot of people of a lot of different ethnic backgrounds and races, and I I definitely know shit that they were going through, and I align with that. You know what I'm saying? But me putting posts out there aligning with that, or me putting posts out there saying Trump is out of his mind, even though I mean Biden's like falling asleep on the stage. You know, putting posts out there like that literally had people defriending me. People that I didn't even realize defriended me till later. And
Right. I
and
think
and
I think that yeah, that's weird.
and I mean I get like you said, like, if you don't follow similar views, sometimes
Right.
you get rid of those people, and I understand that, but at the same time, opinions and views on things shouldn't make people completely part ways if you have similar interests in other things, is what I'm saying. Like, politics shouldn't be a reason people don't. I mean, I never even paid attention to politics until literally the fucking Trump shit, because the shit was so entertainingly stupid to me that, like, you couldn't help but pay attention because it was fucking comedy all fucking 4 years.
It was. It was a nonstop. And yeah, and I think that's ultimately the basis is like being realistic about because like for me when I talk about defriending these people, it's like I looked through the whole body of experience and I was like, is there really any why am I friends with this person? Because in a lot of cases, it's like I'm sure you get this too. You do a show, you do some stuff, you release a bunch of music, and you just get waves of friend lists. And I'll usually just say, yeah, you know, I'll give you. You can be in the club until you give me a reason for you to not be in the club. Basically, is the way that I look at it.
Mm.
Um, and then if I got somebody that's constantly like jumping in on everything with negativity or weirdness or like like if somebody that's rapping over their vocals and buying features and doing stuff like this and saying that they're gonna change the entire art of hip hop because they're fucking deluded, it's like I really don't have. There's no reason for you to be here because clearly we don't operate in the same ethos at all,
Mm.
and all you're trying to do is create controversy or contention or something. And to me, like it's fun for a little while because there is always a little bit of that shithead in me that likes to fuck with people. But at the end of the day, it's like it does get distracting from the overall goal, which is making music and doing dope stuff. So it's like, man, eventually if this person's just being a troll, why do I even have them around? And there's plenty of those people. Um, it's the same reason why I don't get offended when I see that people have unfriended me or unfollowed me or whatever. It's like it is what it is. It's maybe we didn't see eye to eye on something. Cool. It's better than, like you've seen some of the results of fucking endless voice messages and fucking messenger calls and shit from some of these fucking weirdos that it's like, bruh, ain't nobody got time for this weird talking back and forth. And I think that's the weirdest thing to me about what I've seen change because it has to have been created by social media and mass communication because I can't imagine a world in hip hop where that used to be the case. It used to be you let your bars do the talking and that's it. It's like you put your bars up and now everybody wants to fucking put their best Facebook comments up. And it's like, dog, if we're both hip hop artists, then we should be willing to battle in the hip hop dojo. And if not, then what are we doing? You know, if we have a
Yeah.
disagreement, if we want to take it that way.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Um you had mentioned rappers rapping over their vocals. Let's take that into our past weekend. We had 3 shows. Um we started out at a show that I was initially excited about.
Same
Um
here.
where we were both on the bill opening up for the legendary Loonies. For people that are unaware, though, Loonies is technically split because I had a conversation with Numbskull, who is one half of the Loonies. You could check out the episode on the Denku podcast. Me and Numbskull had a conversation, and it was you know brought to my attention completely the entire reason why the split happened. So I don't need to go into detail of that here, but basically we were opening for a show with Yuckmouth and um, another guy, Cuzzo Fly, who got brought into the Loonies to do the U.S. tour shows, from my understanding, because Numbskull still tours overseas. And there's a lot of artists on the bill. Um, Obviously, more than I would ever put on a bill. I don't believe in big show bills when I'm booking shows. I like to keep it short, sweet, skilled, short, sweet, and skilled. Definitely artists that are dope as fuck to make sure that that is at the show enjoys every act. You know what I'm saying? So, you unfortunately had probably the shittiest slot going first. I mean, some would say you set the tone, but at the same time,
For who?
there wasn't an audience of people to set the tone. Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it always sucks to go on first, especially at an early show, like 7 o'clock start, all ages. The only thing that was cool about the all ages thing is that I was able to bring my daughters to the show. They did have a fun time, but they know real hip hop, so they're sitting at the merch table clowning whack rappers with us, like, which was fucking hilarious. Um, and then we get up to the headline, and I'm expecting this in my mind. This is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting them to do songs off of one of my childhood favorite records to ever come out. Fucking Operation Stackola by Loonies. Like, I grew up on that record. I played it a bunch. I wanted to hear Put the Lead on Ya. I wanted to hear Pimp Play as Hustlers. I wanted to hear a bunch of joints, even Operation Stackola, the lead, like the title song. I want to hear all these joints off the record, and literally the only song that they did on the entire fucking 20 minute 20-minute fucking headline set was I Got Five on it. Disappointed. And what'd they do, Pesto? What the
Well,
fuck
they
did
rapped
they do?
over their fucking vocals. They rapped over their fucking vocals, and they got mad at the sound man, not the DJ. He was a sound man, and he was a damn good one. Shout out to Grizz of X-Ray Arcade. That dude was fucking on point. He had us sounding good all night. Anybody that talked to him, he was able to give you what you needed as far as a sound man. Like, he was everything I could ask for in a sound man. They yelled at him because he just kept letting their track play because they gave him a one track. And they got mad and they're like, yo, DJ, we're not one of these acts that just lets our songs keep playing. We got stuff to say before and after. And he's like, so you're not gonna, like, I'm like, bro, so you're not gonna rap over your vocals the whole time? Like, you're gonna give us a couple minutes where you're talking on the mic without vocals in the background, even though it's not you rapping, at least it's not fucking you rapping over vocals, man.
They're
God
gonna
damn.
they're gonna give us some insightful words.
Yeah. And they got mad at the crowd because the crowd wasn't feeling them like that. They were, oh, there's not enough energy in here. And it's like, well, no, duh, bro. Like, I don't get how they don't understand that. Like, in that same building, I've been to two shows. I've been to that show, and I've been to a show with Ari the Rugged Man headlining. No, a tale of two headlining acts, if I could tell you one thing. They went on for 20 minutes. They played five fucking songs. They rapped over their vocals. They bitched and moaned about the crowd. RA went on for almost an hour. He fucking
Yeah, he
included the
probably he
crowd.
probably rocked for an hour. Yeah,
Yeah, he included the crowd in a bunch of his stuff. He didn't rap over his vocals a single time. Um, he had a professional setup with him. Like he was ready to go. Like that's
And
the difference
he's
between professional and not.
and the crazy part is it though is RA is less famous than Looney's is.
Right.
So you would think with them having a bigger spotlight, seeing what's going around, the ins and outs of how terrible it is for a lot of people um to hear a performer rap over their vocals, you would think that they wouldn't do it, especially coming from an era where we know you didn't do it. Why did you decide to start doing it? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't know why. Because it just creates a new justification for all these other performers that were there rapping over their vocals to go, well, the headlining act did it and they got paid. I'm like, man, it's a
Yeah,
shame. It's a stain on the culture, bro.
yeah. Like I said, my biggest confusion with it is I don't understand how artists that come from the era where nobody did it start doing it. Like, what happened? Why did you decide to start doing that whack ass shit? And like, what made you decide to do it? Like, I want to talk to an artist that did that
Yes.
didn't rap over their vocals, and then at some point in time started rapping over their vocals because they think it's the thing to do now. I want to talk to someone that did that because it baffles me. I don't understand it.
Yeah. That would be people who are watching this. If you can get somebody, one of those people, one of those golden age motherfuckers who used to rock a mic like a real MC and now he is put training wheels on his shit, bring him on this podcast. We promise we won't hurt him.
Well, it's funny. Um, there's a lot of people that defend like the legendary artists, um, regardless of how they perform, just because they're like legends in the game. It's the same type of people that defend like the Hook situation that like people got all crazy on my post about for like the diss tracks. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I remember, and this is crazy to me because it's like such a hypocritical thing that had happened. But I remember watching Sway used to do these yearly ciphers or whatever, and he used to get like some of the best people to be on these ciphers. And I remember watching the cipher, and then after the cipher, the Locks came on and did a live performance. And this was probably, what year was that? 20 um 2016, 2016, 2017, something like that. It was whenever this Rod Digger poster right here. It was whenever I got that. I don't remember what 2017. There, it's written right on the fucking thing. I'm retarded. But
I was like, isn't there a date on it?
yeah, there is. So 2017 is when that was. So no, so I was right. So it was the year after that. So the year after that, Lyric Jones was actually invited to be on the cipher. So that's why I know it was the year after that. So I'm watching the cipher. The Locks gets on to perform. I'm excited because and this was live. Like I was watching the live, you know what I'm saying? I was off that day or whatever. I had time to watch it. I was watching the live and Locks comes on. I'm excited to see it because I've never even seen Locks do a live performance, you know what I'm saying? Like when they do tours, they don't hit Milwaukee; they skip it, like most people. Um, and they rapped over their vocals. Here's the crazy part about that. Fast forward to when the Locks battled Dipset in the verses. Jadakiss made a huge deal about rappers rapping over their vocals, like a huge deal. And it became him that shitted on Dipset for rapping over their vocals. And then everyone was like, yeah, they're real. They did that shit. But they did it because 2 years, 3 years earlier, they were rapping over their vocals at a live show. So that's crazy if you think about it.
That's way crazy.
That
I didn't
3
know.
years prior to Jadakiss basically escalating the movement to not rap over your vocals in the verses. 3 years prior to that, he did a show on Sway on the Cypher where him and his crew, the Locks, rapped over their vocals and then flipped it 3 years later. I want to talk to him. I want to know
What happened?
what made him do that. Because they did
Yeah,
it. They
I'm
did it
curious.
because they did it. They like did an opposite thing. So like they like come from the era where we know they didn't do it, and then they got to a point where maybe they did do it. Obviously, in that one, maybe it was just that show. I mean, like I said, I've never seen Locks perform. Maybe it was just that show. But regardless of what it was, they did it at that point in time. And then 3 years later, after the pandemic happened, they were doing all the verses, back and forth battle shit. The Locks battled Dipset, and Jadakiss elevates the movement for people to not rap over their vocals. Now it goes a little more global wide to where a lot more artists are stopping to do that now. And it's just like, that's like hypocritical, kind of, right?
It's very much so. It makes me wonder if, because I see two different scenarios here. I see a situation where they get booked to do it and then they get told they have to perform over their vocal tracks.
Well, there's
Or
no way that Sway would do that because Sway comes from the era.
that's what I'm saying. That doesn't really seem plausible. Um, Something contractually, or the other thing is maybe they did, obviously they came from the era where they weren't. Maybe they got into doing it and then they got flack for it for that very performance that you're talking about, and people that were real told them, yo, what the fuck was that? And they realized like, yo, we should not be doing that. That is a cop out they write. So I'm very curious. Like somebody from the Locks, we gotta talk to you and find out why.
And it's
Um,
still there. Like I said, if I remember the name of the Sway Cipher, I will send you the link and you can fast forward to the end where Locks did a live set and you will see it.
you guys just saw that here. Denku just told me to fast forward to a part where people rapping over their vocals. He's trying to infect me with over vocals rap.
I
The
mean,
eclipse really did change the fucking dimensions. Everything got all
this is
fucked up.
this is my mind ability right now. I'm trying to de-evolve the pest so he
Yeah, like oh yeah,
can
here
go
you go.
back and change
Rap
up his
over his
ways.
vocals.
Um, Speaking of Denko and the Pest, which just randomly was a thing that got talked about because of like we took a picture at the Looney show and I just saw it and I was like, oh, this could be an album cover, like Denko and the Pest, like whatever. And then
Right.
now it's like a thing. Like so like the flyer I made for this upcoming Marquette, Michigan show at Superior Cultures. Shouts out to them in Marquette. I named the show Denku and the Pest. Fuck it. And I'm damn near on the brink. If you come on this tour in the fall, they get a call in the tour, the Denku and the Pest tour.
Oh
I'm
my
not even
God.
lying.
Oh, that shit's funny. Yeah, that's just fire. That picture turned out dope, man, too. Um, and yeah, I'm excited for that little. I know we were hoping to make it a bigger show run here next week, but even with it just being Chicago and then a couple of UP dates, including that festival, should be a good time. I mean, I've never played Upper Michigan before, so that'll be a fun new experience. And I think Chicago. I don't think we technically played Chicago when we did Midwest, so I think that'll be the first time in the actual city of Chicago for me as well. Um, so that'll be dope too. Knock off some pop some cherries, knock off some new fucking cities that have fucking ripped the mic in. So I'm excited. It's always fun to hit a new area. Um, it's cool as fuck to hit an old area too, man, because that was one thing I wanted to shout out now that we were talking about those shows that we did before. Um, the Oshkosh show was so dope, and they always are. They just they keep getting more and more dope because that crowd seems to be very dedicated. Like it's like we get
Mm.
a good group of people that come down, they cop merch, they fucking stay for the whole show, they watch all the acts, they fucking really, really love the music. Um, and that shit's dope as hell. Like that's one of the dopest experiences to have, I think, as an artist when you're doing shows is going back to a place and especially a place that like you and I don't live there, neither of us ever have lived there. Um, and it's just a spot where we've kind of built roots in by doing these shows, and created a fan base. And actually, one of the dudes outside said to me, he said the only three acts he would travel for to go and see are Prof, Denku, and Pestilence. So that was kind of a dope um compliment to receive from him.
Oh, that's
Um,
super dope.
yeah. So it's like that's and I mean they put their money where their mouth is. They're copping merch, they're always copping, different projects and stuff. Um, it's always fun to hit those towns like that when even if it's not a giant crowd every time, the crowd that's there is always very diehard. It gives you hope for hip hop's future that there's still people out there that do really fucking love it. Um, because it's something that like I obviously you see it when I'm at shows. It's like I'm fucking in. If somebody's dope, I'm in. I'm fucking up
Oh yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm going nuts the whole time. And it's like I can't imagine a world where I wouldn't be doing that because it's like even if I didn't want to, it's like out of my control. The hip hop takes over and it's like this is fucking dope. Like I gotta be part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we definitely have a base in Oshkosh. Shouts to all them. Um and shouts to all the people, yeah, that come out to those shows. Shouts to Stream for rocking with us up in that area. Um yeah, always fun. I'm actually trying to lock in a summer date and then another fall date there at some point because I like to hit there multiple times throughout the year. And then
Yeah,
obviously we did I think it's been 2 years since I rocked the Sturgeon Bay show. Probably the last
same.
show I rocked up there was Space Case's retirement show. And this show was fucking MC Envy's retirement show.
Slash Space Case's unretirement.
Yeah, how crazy is that? How crazy is that?
Um, I don't know, man. It's something that you and I obviously have been running into a lot with different people and hearing from different people the need and the want to slow down. And that's totally cool. But it's weird because like Mars and I obviously are both a lot younger in this game. We haven't been doing this for 20, 30 fucking years, but I can't see a world where hip hop is not part of my life and creation unless I fucking lose the physical ability to do it. I feel like I'm gonna do this until I die. And it's like I feel like that exists in everybody that really loves this. So it's like it's hard for me to believe that, retirement is real for any of these people. because it's like it just doesn't last. I feel like eventually that passion comes back. I think a better way to put it instead of retirement is saying, I'm stepping away for a while and I'm focusing on other things, because it's like, who knows where the fuck you're going to be in a year? Who knows, because it's such a powerful therapy and release and catharsis to get up there and write shit and perform shit and record stuff, that it's like, I feel like it's like getting rid of your samurai sword. It's like that's your
Yeah.
fucking most powerful weapon. It's weird to me to hang it up forever. Um, I could see, focusing on the gardening tools for a while, or focusing on the hammer instead of the sword for a while, whatever. But it's like you're gonna come back to it, and it's, I think, kind of one
Yeah.
of those things that you see with people that work hard, and it's an infectious thing. Like in our circles where we got people that are constantly, like you and I are always fucking doing music. And a lot of the people that I surround myself with are the same way. And I think it does get overwhelming at times to like, that's you get into that routine and you're like, that's how I have to be creating all the time. And it's something I've had to, over the last year or two, kind of temper my own expectations and be like, yo, like, when you are in that mode and you have the time and the ability to do it, like take advantage of it, but don't expect that to be your reality all the time. Even if you're capable of doing this, there's other shit in life that comes up. You got work, you've got family, you've got friends, you've got other shit like that sometimes comes up. You got shows, it's like it's hard to fucking sit and create an album when you're doing a run of shows. It's like there's, unless maybe you're doing them back to back to back and all your time is focused on hip hop. If you're doing work, show, work, show, work, show, you don't really have the time to be, creating like that. So it's like one of those things that like I think learning that it's okay to take time away, you just come back. That's the way
So
I look at the retirement stuff.
yeah, so um you mentioning that, yes, I've been doing this close to I've been rhyming close to 30 years. I think I'm in like 28 or something like that. Um and there's definitely periods of time. I mean, I'm always doing I'm always doing something creative, whether it's posting um some older music but revitalizing it, or podcasting, recording podcasts, or doing my Denku toy chest shit but incorporating like some hip hop beats, or getting ready to do a string of shows. But I definitely go through periods where uh, I'm not working as much as I used to, but it's never gone for me. Like I still have fun doing it. I'm still hungry to do shit. I definitely go through periods though. Like there's periods, there's whole weeks I'll just sit and fucking watch some shows and fucking play some video games and chill the fuck out because I work the 60-hour work week and I don't feel like writing a verse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I go through those times. I know people don't think I do, but I go through those times, but I just have so much built material that it makes it seem like I don't go through those times. But I definitely go through those times, but I would never in my entire life say I'm retiring from it. I would never do that just because there's just so much more I want to do. And getting older makes it, getting older doesn't make it harder. Getting older makes it harder if you feel like ageism is a thing. That's what it is. Like, I don't care if I'm the 50-year-old rapper on a show that's shitting on all the 20-year-old rappers that think they can rap. I don't care. Like, I'll do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just did a show this last weekend with some homies from lacrosse that love the shit that I do. And these dudes are in their mid 20s. So there's people
Right.
that love what the fuck I do that are younger anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whether like and that's how I know that I don't need to give up or stop doing it, because there's younger people that I can still reach. It might not be these 18-year-olds, but there's those 20-year-olds that taught themselves and learned real hip hop shit and love that shit, love the culture, love the real MC, love the real boom bap shit, that will still appreciate the shit that I do. And I don't know if that's what drives people away, because they think that there's no fan base. Well, the thing about that is you have to continue to try to build your fan base. Your fan base doesn't build by itself. And when you give up and you stop and you lose the motivation, well, then it's a hobby to you. And that's what it was. It was nothing more than a hobby. If you don't have the work ethic and the drive and the motivation and the passion to do it at a high level, you're never going to get anywhere anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And there's nothing wrong with it being a hobby for people or it
There is
being something
nothing
they just
wrong with
enjoy
it.
to do.
There
No.
is nothing
It
wrong.
is just there is a very big difference in the world that we live in the world that people that operate that way live in. And it's not something I just think, it's something I know. It's like interacting with people that have been doing this as long as you have. And it's like I by no means have dropped an incredible amount of music, but it's like, man, I've only been dropping music for 4 years and I've dropped, two projects. I've got two more dropping in the next couple months. And it's like some of these people haven't even dropped one. And it's like how I cannot fathom being in something and being passionate about it for so long and never guiding that energy to the right place. Like in a way, the persistence and the consistency to come back is admirable, but it's kind of one of those where it's like, yo, stop teasing the girl, bro. Finish her off. Like, make the fucking project, do the fucking thing. Obviously, if you keep coming back to this, you love it. Why not push yourself over that hump? Because it's like you and I know as well as anybody that's created a full fucking project or done anything like that, it is a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just writing 10, 15, 20 songs. It's not all it is. There's all the recording, all the writing, all the engineering, all of the curating of the what track's gonna go where, the figuring out the art, the putting it through distribution, there's a lot that goes into it and it is exhausting. And not all of it is stuff like when you write a song and it makes you feel fucking like this was dope. Not all of it gives you that feeling. Some of it is just tedious bullshit work that you gotta do to be able to really push a project and get something out there so that other people can see, your vision. And I think a lot of people, I don't know if that's where they're getting lost, where they're like, yo, fuck this other stuff. I just want to make the music and I don't want to
Mm,
spend all the time putting this together and doing all this extra work and stuff like that. And
yeah.
um, that's more understandable to me. But like the non-desire to make the music is extremely weird to me because it's like that's my go-to whenever I'm like, fuck, what should I do? The first thing I think about doing is music. It's not always what I go to, but it's the first thing I think about is, oh, what do we feel about sitting down and writing something? Or even just listening to some beats. What do I feel about going through and listening through some of these projects that I have sitting around that I'm, gonna do? So it's like it's so there's always something to be done, and it's like you just gotta keep hammering away at it. Otherwise, like you end up in a situation where you've been rapping for 20 years and you've never dropped a project.
Yeah.
That could never be me. Just could never be me. I already couldn't be, dude. I already dropped one. I fucked up, man. I can't be that 20 year long veteran that hasn't dropped his debut project yet.
Or you can be the super grind. Real quick, shout to Mike in the chat. Um, he's in the chat. Shouts to him. And or you could be on the super grind like me, who has been rhyming 28 years and has 40 projects out. That's
That's
crazy.
more realistic. It is crazy, but it's more realistic to me. It's like that makes more sense to me. As somebody that really loves this shit, if you really love it, then yeah, that's what's gonna happen. You're just gonna keep fucking doing this, and you're gonna do this at a high level, and you're gonna keep expanding and evolving and just getting better and better and better and having higher and higher marks to clear. Same thing with live shows. It's like Man, I've seen a lot of different performances. Obviously, you're one of the people I've seen perform probably the most because we've done a lot of shows together.
Yeah.
But even though I've seen you perform a lot of times, I still see you constantly with a drive to get better. Like your live show, the first time I saw you was something that blew like all of us away. You know, the crew of the people that hadn't seen you before, everybody the first time they see a Denku show, hats off, are always like, God damn. Like, but if it isn't the acapella freestyle or the beatboxing or the vocal scratching, it's something that grabs somebody as like, man, this motherfucker's doing it all. Um, and now you're adding, you're singing more, you're adding in a fucking pedal, you're constantly trying to improve. And like I think the best example that I've been able to see is like a tangible thing is the Knot of Earth Realm track. From the first time you performed that to now, how much that song has evolved as far as a live track is incredible. And like that to me is like okay, this makes me feel like I'm on the right path because that's what I want to do with my music. I always want to make it better. Even my dopest shit,
Yeah.
I want to come up with better ways to perform it and ways to evoke the power of the song for the crowd and give them a better show every time. And it's clear, like as an MC and as a fan, that you're always doing that with your stuff, and it's like that's dope as fuck.
Hmm. Well, I appreciate it, man. And big shouts out goes to my homie Carnage the Executioner, who definitely always pushed me to evolve my live shit um, from seeing him because he's easily one of the best live performers I've personally seen. Um, so
I gotta catch Carnage live one time. I've seen
so
some
when
videos and it's
so
like,
when
god
when
damn.
when you do a show with him, you need to do more because like I did a full tour with him and going before that to make sure that people still remember who I am because like when he goes on, I mean he even has a song where he says that he's the show stealer and um basically when he goes on, they forget you were ever there. So for him to tell me multiple times on multiple shows that I stole the show is fucking dope. Or for
Right.
me and him to have the conversation where I could potentially be one of the top 5 best hip hop performers in the game, not just in the underground, in the game, period. He says this to me. This is coming from a dude that's also a hip hop historian that's done shows with some of the best people. So for him to say shit like that to me is a humbling thing, knowing that I keep elevating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm always trying to get better, man. Like he gave me a couple other ideas that I might test out the water with. Um at some point, like I said, I'm trying to perfect the singing voice thing. I mean, my only thing about that is when you do constant shows and
Your voice gets worn down, yeah.
you overexert, how are you able to do those? And I guess that's one of the reasons
I got an idea
why.
for you, Danku.
What do
You
you
could
got?
rap over your vocal.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! No, it's not happening. But I'm saying that's one of the reasons why I incorporated the pedal is
Right.
because you can still make shit sound somewhat good with the doubler with the reverb pedal. Because obviously a sound man, I mean, let's be honest. When we're at a show, sound guys, 90, probably 90% of the time. I mean, should I give them a better percentage? Maybe 75? I feel like I'm gonna lean towards 90 because I've done shows all over the country. I think 90% of the time, a sound man at a show does a line check and does not give a fuck how you sound after that. I don't think they care.
Yeah, I think
There's
we got lucky this weekend with the last shows because I think the Grizz at the Looney show, I think he clearly gave a fuck. He was constantly fucking with stuff, and
yeah,
then
but
Beavis from Piranha North is another
yeah,
one that like he's
but the,
constantly doing stuff.
but
But
a
that is rare. You're
majority do
right.
not care. They do not care. And it's fucked up when they don't care because it's like some of those shows and venues, I'm not even getting the money I should be getting because it's going to the sound man first. And I'm like, the money's going to you first because you have to get paid for your job and you're not doing your fucking job. Like, I shouldn't technically need the reverb double or pedal because if a sound man was doing their job and paying attention to when a singing hook comes on, they would throw the reverb on. But they don't
Right.
do that shit majority of the time because they don't give a fuck and they're not paying attention to making the show sound better. They're just doing a line check to make sure that you're not getting feedback and the shit is sounding okay with the speakers as far as the level goes. They're not looking for the extras. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes they do too much. It's like it's like hit or miss. Like sometimes
Yeah.
the sound guy will try to do too much and they'll throw like this weird reverb on or delay, and then it like fucking echoes off for like 1,000 things. You're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Now you're making me sound fucked up. So it's like
Right.
it could go both ways. But a lot of the time, like I said, after doing shows all over the fucking country, a majority of the places I do shows at, the sound men do not give a fuck. So I think that's where the pedal comes in as a tool.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, I feel like that's the way as an artist, if you take yourself seriously, especially as a live performer, I think that's the mindset you should have. Um, like because with the pedal, and the same thing with me with like investing in getting a fucking performance mic. It's like, man, this is the second time I've done a run of a few shows, and both of the fucking times I got sick from sharing fucking mics with people, and it's like I gotta invest in the mic, you know? It's like
And I
ideally we'd live in a world where you wouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't have to have your own mic and there would always be a clean mic that there wouldn't be nothing at, but it's just not how it is.
well, you heard my story, right?
No,
You've never heard my story of what of the microphones? So
no.
Carnage used to always tell me to get my own performance mic, and I would never do it. Because I was on some stubborn shit, whatever. And I would always share mics. And then there was this one time when at the end of a show, we had a live cipher. A bunch of people were passing other mics around, and I was beatboxing on the mic. And you know when you beatbox, you're crazy close, right? So I'm beatboxing, and I do this reverse drum because the beatbox sounded mad nice. Like the whoever the sound guy was that show had it sound nice. But I was doing some beatbox shit for the cipher, and I did like this reverse fucking drum shit, like so I sucked in everybody's fucking previous spit that was in the microphone. I almost vomited right on stage. It was one of the
Oh
grossest.
no.
It was one of the grossest fucking experiences I've ever had in my whole life.
Holy shit.
And ever since then, I will never do a show without my own microphones.
You
Ever.
showed up to the next show with a fucking performance mic like, nope, I ain't
Yeah.
sucking in anybody else's shit.
And that's the fucked up thing. It took me a personal experience. Carnage was telling me this shit for years. He's telling me, bro, you got to get your own performance mic. I said, yeah, maybe. I would always do. I was like, yeah, maybe. But I didn't. And then that experience happened. And then I was like, yes, now I'm doing it. It took a disgusting experience like that for me to go get it. And just like it took you getting sick multiple times
Yeah.
from sharing mics to finally be like, Yeah,
Fuck
man, I
this.
got to do it. And the
Yeah.
same shit with like when I toured with Urban, literally on tour. While we were on tour, we went to a Guitar Center and he got a mic because he was like, "Why do I keep sharing these mics?" I was like, "Bro, I don't fucking know." Like, I don't know why you keep doing it. And then literally when we were on tour, I actually think it's the same Guitar Center. I'm pretty sure we stopped at a Guitar Center in Oklahoma City, and I think it's the same Guitar Center that I stopped at with Carnage on tour to buy a mic. I'm not even lying. It's crazy.
So are you saying I gotta go to a Guitar Center in Oklahoma to buy the mic? It's like where
No, no,
CyphaDen gets
no, no,
blessed to
no.
get their mics. Feel
But
like,
but that was the second mic I bought. I had already had a mic, but I had bought like now I have two. I have a backup mic in case this mic fucks up. So I have two of the beta joints, and then I have a third mic in case both of those fuck up. I have like a shittier like a Audio Technica joint or something. Um so I have like three different mics that I bring with me to every show. But now I
yeah,
use two at every show because I make them set up the beatbox mic so I don't have to get them to do the bass heavy shit. I want it set up already so it's already good to go. And then I have the vocal mic. So now I have two mics at every show. And eventually what's gonna happen, like I said, Carnage um told me to get this effects pedal. And if I get this effects pedal, um, I might end up just getting a looper too. Not building up shit like his gigantic crazy pedal board of shit,
but being
but
able to
but
loop your
but
own
but
beatbox live and then
yeah,
rap
being able
over
to
it.
do that and then doing scratches on it. So like instead of throwing on a beat that I love to do the object freestyle, I would do that instead.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
You know what I'm saying? Um, but I haven't went there yet. And then I'm also thinking of getting another thing he linked me to was the old school microphone that you can hold like this, but now there's an adapter that you can get that makes any microphone you use into a wireless microphone.
Okay.
So it's like the dope microphone, but instead of because like a lot of wireless microphones sound like absolute dog shit. They go through the little controller or whatever and all that shit. This thing is literally it's a component that plugs into the end of the microphone, and then the other component plugs into the output, and it makes you whatever microphone that you love to use into a wireless microphone.
Okay.
Um, so I was thinking of possibly going that route. I don't know yet. Like I said, it's all a money thing. So
Yeah, that's true.
it obviously depends on that situation going forward. But yeah, man. Like I said, lots of good ideas, lots of good tips, lots of good conversations. Um, that
Yeah,
went
man.
on. Yeah. This has been dope,
Shout out
man.
to our guest. Shout out to our guest.
Yeah. Yeah, we were supposed yeah, we were supposed to have a guest on. I don't really know what happened. Lost track of time, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about CyphaDen Chat. Technically, we don't need a guest. I just get a guest to incorporate different ideas and thoughts when we do these. But technically, it is a CyphaDen Chat that we're incorporating other people into our world, is basically what it is. So, yes, we don't technically ever need a guest. Um,
Right.
Obviously, we have concepts, ideas, and thoughts to talk about uh, every week anyway. You know what I'm saying? And this week
Right.
was no different. We had a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things happened, and we went over a lot of different things. And that's what it is, and it's dope, man. So, yeah,
Right.
everybody that has tuned in this evening, we appreciate you to the fullest. Uh, so tune in next week, man. This has been CyphaDen Chat. I'm your host, Taiyamo Denku. That's the homie Pestilence. We will have a lot more to talk with you going forward, especially
Denku in the past.
Denku and the pest. Yes, especially more. Maybe we just change the podcast to that if we go forward. The Denku and the Pest podcast.
Oh man.
But yeah, like I said, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This has been CyphaDen Chat. I'm your host, Taiyamo Denku. That's Pestilence over there. And we did not have a guest this evening, but next week we might come back with a guest. Who knows what's gonna happen, man? It's always unpredictable. But we are out of here for the evening. So thank you again and peace.
Peace.